Check this out. This is how my foot's supposed to look, okay? Slim. Now look at this one. Look how fat that son of a bitch is. Somehow, last night when I was sleeping, compare these bastards together, see? Look how fat that left foot is. Somehow, when I was sleeping last night, or maybe sometime last night before I went to bed, I broke my fucking foot. Unbelievable. Look at this. Unbelievable. Look how thin my foot's supposed to be. Look how fat that fucker is. So I was trying to foot brake today at the first race, and it kind of hurt my foot a bit. But I still did the job. I held the brake with my left foot, touched the gas with my right and launched. Was able to get through the race, no problem. Unfortunately, look at these 2 feet. Here's the right, nice and slim like it's supposed to be. Here's the left, all fat and broken and messed up. I have no idea what the hell happened. Maybe I got bit by something, I don't know. But that wouldn't break my damn foot. So something broke my foot last night. Have no idea how. And I woke up with it. And I really noticed it after the first race. I noticed how fat my foot was compared to the other one. Look at the difference. You can see it, you know. It's kind of a huge difference. I'd rather have other parts of me much larger than my fucking foot. Let me tell you. Anyway, that's the brakes. Literally, that's the brakes. I lose the first race, and I kind of discover my left foot's fucking broken. How about that? How's that for the brakes? Oh well, I'm going to remain positive. My race day's over anyway. So somehow I just got to gear myself back together and secure my camp. Get everything secured in my camper and load everything in the truck. Then hook my trailer to the truck and finish my weekend at the races. So yeah, it's going to be challenging to pack up and hook my trailer up with my broken ass foot, but I'll do my best. I'll make it through. Somehow, some way, I can do it. I ain't fucking weak. I can do it. So, yeah. Damn the luck, huh? Well, if everything would have worked out, I could still be racing right now. Even with a broken foot, I'd still do it. Because I'm just one of those people that no matter what happens, I'll still race. If I can race, I'll race. If I'm not dead, I'll still race. Even though you have to, have your left foot, to be able to sense the pedal. When you load the torque converter with the right foot, you're loading the gas, and you're holding the left foot to keep your vehicle in place while you're loading up the torque converter, loading up the boost, get ready to launch, and go! At least that's the goal anyway. I did it. It kind of hurt a little bit. Kind of hurt like hell, honestly, like it does now. But I did. Hey, I finished the race. Didn't win because I was a little bit off my dial-in time. Maybe I should have dialed a 14.29 and I might have won that race, but I don't know. Sometimes you follow your gut instinct, and my gut instinct told me to write a 14.09 because yesterday I had a 14.1 in four-wheel drive. So I figured, maybe I'd gain a 10th, maybe not. But I tried. Next year, the racing will be much better because I'm going to slowly prepare over the winter time. I'm going to prepare my 1980 Buick Regal Sport Coupe Limited Turbo. Now, the 80 Buick Regal Sport Coupe was the first turbo Buick they ever made. It had a carbureted turbocharger, so it had a draw-through carburetor turbo. So basically, you got your carburetor out here mixing your fuel and air, and it goes right into the turbo's compressor, gets compressed, and shoved in the intake manifold. So this type of turbo setup called draw-through turbocharging, I've got videos of it on my playlist you can look up. You look at my 1980 Buick Turbo playlist, and you'll see what a draw-through turbo carburetor is. And it's a pretty neat form of turbocharging. It's really simple. You don't need an intercooler or much piping, because you're just going from the carburetor, there's a manifold, going from the carburetor to the inlet of the turbo, and it just goes direct in the turbo's compressor, gets compressed by the blades, and shoved in the intake to give you boost right away. And the spray of the fuel mixed with the air acts as cooling and atomizes the fuel into the intake manifold. So draw-through turbocharging is very effective. And for next year's races, I'm going to prepare the 1980 Turbo Buick Regal. I'm going to take the stroker engine out of the black 1987 Buick Regal, and I'm going to put the stroker engine in the white Turbo Buick Regal. So I'm going to go from, the 274 stroker in this 87, I'm going to pull that engine out, take all of the fuel injection crap off because it's not performing very good. 32, 33-year-old, hell, maybe it's older than that, 30 some odd year factory fuel injection, fuel management system's not working very well because it's popping and banging when I get around 15 pounds of boost. So I think that factory fuel injection system's given the ghost. So I'm going to take that expensive ass stroker engine I spent $12,000 building. Just parts alone were $12,000 to build the 274 cubic inch stroker engine for my 87 Regal Turbo T Limited. I'm going to take that engine out, put it in the 1980 Turbo Regal, and configure for draw-through turbocharging. I'm going to find my biggest turbocharger, whether it's a GT3582 ball bearing turbo, and I'm going to have the carburetor draw through into that with a custom manifold and a Demon blow through. Well, I'll probably just use a regular Demon carburetor since it's draw through. And that setup should net me about 600 horsepower. I'm going to put that in the 1980 Buick. It's already got a 373 rear end ratio and a turbo hydromatic 350 automatic transmission. So it's already set up for power. I just got to put the right engine in it. Then I'm going to do not a line lock system, but I'm going to try to do a trans brake setup for it so I can launch right on boosted RPM. So I can launch fast and maybe have a 10-second car for next year. The 300ZX Turbo just quite not doing it for me. I like it, I like driving it, but it's not consistent for bracket racing. It kind of, right now, well, the last race I did, it was in the early 14s, 1405, 1410, something like that, in the quarter mile. And there's so much variable because you got a 5-speed manual and a turbocharger together. And if you shift just a little different, your time is altered. And in bracket racing, you got to be as consistent as possible. So you want an automatic transmission and a consistent engine setup. So I figured the draw-through turbo setup on the 80 Buick with the stroker engine from the 87 Buick and the 373 final gears with the 350 trans. I think that'll be the right combination to get me in the 10s next year. So that's my goal over the winter, is to prepare the 80 Turbo Buick. I've got a playlist for that 80 Turbo Buick in case you don't know what that car is. I've got a whole playlist on the 1980 Buick Regal Sport Coupe Turbo Limited. It's kind of a rare car as well. It's not as rare as my 1987. My 87, they only made 1,037 Turbo T Limiteds Buick Regals. So, second most rare Turbo Buick, and it's the first of the Turbo Buicks, the carbureted turbos, not the fuel-injected turbos from 1984 to 1987. So there's a little history on Turbo Buicks. Check out my 1980 Buick Regal Sport Coupe playlist, and also check out the 87 Buick Regal Turbo T Limited playlist, because that shows details on my 274 cubic inch stroker engine that I prepared and built. That engine's going to go in the 1980 with a draw-through turbo setup. And then I'm going to take the original engine from the 87 Buick, put it back in with the T76 turbo, and hopefully square away the factory fuel management system. If not, I'm going to have to go with a Holley XFI fuel injection system, because I hear they work really good with those Turbo Buicks. You can get those at Cruise Performance. It totally replaces the factory garbage 30-plus-year-old fuel management system, which when it goes and gives you a lot of grief. So, hey, that's it for this year on the racing, and next year I'm going to be ready with a Turbo Buick, the 1980 draw-through turbo. with the stroker engine, and it's gonna move. It's going to be day and night from this year's racing. This year's racing, I had to race the F-150 because none of my other cars are running right now. So I had to do last-ditch effort and race my F-150, which is a tow vehicle to tow my trailer, my camping trailer. It's not made for speed. I mean, it did 14-second quarter miles, which at sea level is 13-second quarter miles, but that's not fast. 10 seconds, 9 seconds, okay, now we're talking. That's kind of fast. But 14 seconds is not fast at all. It's kind of a waste of my time, but I did it because I had to have something to race the last days of the year. So I'll close off this video, and there's some positives for next year. I'm going to race the 80 Turbo Buick, my second most rare of my Turbo Buicks. Going to put the stroker engine in it, and it's going to be fast. Fast. All right, everybody. Have a great day, weekend, all that stuff, and mad boosting.